Hey there. Thanks so much for joining me. Hey, Sarah. Good to see you. This is Wednesday night. And last Wednesday night, we had lots of fun hanging out. So I thought, my husband's out playing hockey. Maybe I should hang out with you guys because it's always fun, right? So I'm going to give it a few minutes to let a few people get on and settle in and go from there. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling like the effects of the full moon are coming up. Everybody getting ready to release and let go of all that shit in their trunk because this is the time to do it, right? I think we got one more full one coming up in December, but I'm no astrologer. I don't know a whole lot about these things, but I do know that we are pushing into 2025 when it's going to be hardcore looking at what it is we need to release and let go of. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight. Tonight, we're going to be exploring how will the 9 universal year affect your personal year. If you don't know me, my name is Ann Perry. I am a professional numerologist. Been doing this for about 21 years, I think, at this point. And some of you I recognize on here, and good to meet all the newbies and all the oldies as well. Yeah, so I teach numerology. I do numerology readings. I have the Clarity Seekers community. Yeah, so we have all kinds of good opportunities there, and a great website that's got some really good resources on it if you need to learn a little bit more. So we are going to be talking tonight about that 9 universal year that is upon us. We are already feeling it. We started feeling it around the 1st of October. So around the 1st of October, thanks, Relax, you good, Levin. Thank you so much. What we're going to be talking about is the fact that as we shift in October, we start feeling the energy of the next coming year. So this is on a universal level, but it's also on a personal level. So we're going to be talking about the universal year, which I like to call an umbrella influence. Okay, the universal year is the umbrella influence, whereby everybody is affected by it. Okay, now you all know that we have a personal year that is a little closer to our hearts, right? We feel that a bit more. But I wanted you guys to understand what's coming up, that influence of the 9 vibration for 2025, because it's going to hold an impact, right? This is the first time since 2016 that we've seen this kind of an energy before. So as we move out of the 8 universal year, 2024, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 equals 8. So this has been an 8 universal year. This has been more about our own personal power, manifestation, our money, our material possessions, how we're going to make our money, how we were recognizing that we're no longer going to allow people to treat us like doormats. So we've been busy setting boundaries and such. All good stuff, right, for 2024. However, as I said, when we came into October, we started shifting out of the 8, we started shifting into the 9. So the 9 isn't going to be quite as focused on you and your own personal gains. It's going to be more outwardly focused because the 9 brings in that energy related to humanitarianism. So it's about a selfless contribution. It's not so much about what can I do for me to get ahead. It's about what can I do for the planet? What can I do for humanity? What can I do for my own community, maybe my own family? It's going to be a year around resolution and fulfillment, and it's going to be a lot more creative possibly than what the 8 has been, for sure. But this is about looking at our money a little differently and our resources a little bit differently. How can we share it? It's like I always like to say that the more money you make, the more money you can spend. The more money you can spend, the more people you help. The more people you help, the better off the planet is, right? So you buy a new car. Well, isn't that great? You get a new car. But the guy that sold you the car gets the commission. The guy that owns the dealership gets freed up on his wholesale interest because you just took one off of his list, right? The guy that works on the assembly line, he too benefited because he was able to make the car in the first place. So it's very far-reaching. So this is about looking at the contributions that you are making globally and outside of your immediate homes and such. So this is going to be about releasing people, in your life that might not be serving you so well anymore. Maybe that's kind of done its thing and it's time to move on. It's about releasing habits, limiting habits that you might have that aren't good for you. This does not mean to say that you can't release a habit or a relationship or tie up some loose ends any other year. It just means that when you're in a 9 universal year, that influence, that umbrella influence of the 9 universal year, it just means it's easier to do it under that umbrella of 9. So this could be about you releasing your work, the type of work that you do, releasing trauma. I mean, there's so much stuff going on right now about ancestral trauma. I don't know about you, but I've been digging deep, right? And get down and dirty, trying to release and let go of a whole bunch of crap in my own trunk. And it's been really powerful this year because I've been in a personal year of 9, right? So that's where we really kick all this shit to the curb that we don't need anymore. Because we want to travel light when we go into our personal years of 1. Back to the universal year for a second. So this is the time when we're going to be tying up loose ends. We're going to be embracing endings rather than fearing them. Okay, this is like, all right, I'm feeling it. I know I gotta move on. I gotta let some stuff go. It's all good because guess what? When we let something go, we are creating a space. When we create a space, we create a vacuum. When we create the vacuum, we have a place where something better for us can drop in. Hey, Mary Ruby, good to see you. So we're also going to be focusing on our wins and our accomplishments. Oh my God, you guys, I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes I get a little too wrapped up in what I haven't accomplished, what I haven't done. Oh my gosh, time got away from me. It went too fast. And I didn't get enough done. We really have to spend some time focusing on what we have accomplished. And what I want you to do is to give a lot of consideration to what have you accomplished since 2016, okay? It might take a little while to do it, but I want you to go year by year. What did you do? What did you create? What did you make happen? What did you manifest, right? I think you'll find there's quite a bit there because that's a full 9-year cycle. So the next year is going to be asking you to reflect upon what you have created. It's about the karmic healing. We all have some karmic debt. We all have some karmic, lessons that we're here to learn. Otherwise, why would we be here? We wouldn't have signed up for Earth School unless we had some stuff that we needed to kind of take care of. So overall, the overarching theme, this umbrella influence, if you will, related to the number 9 universal year is going to be about focusing on the greater good and how can you personally serve the greater good, right? Okay, so I want to take a look because I don't know how much you guys know about personal years and universal years and all that kind of stuff, so I can't assume anything. So I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest condensed version on how to do these calculations. So let's go here. So how do we determine our personal year? Super easy because I only do super easy stuff, right? Okay, so first thing we're going to do is determine what the universal year is. So obviously this year, 2024, we're going to add 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 equals 8, right? And now you're going to add your month of birth plus your day of birth to that universal year. Okay, so here's an example, March 25th. Y'all want to send me a birthday card, that'd be okay. That's my birthday, March 25th. So March equals 3. 25th day, that's a double digit. We want to reduce that. Okay, so 2 plus 5 equals 7. And now we're going to add this, the 3 and the 7, we're going to add that to the 8. So 3 for March. I don't know if the cursor's going to work here, but 3 for March plus 7 for the day plus 8 for the universal year. When we add those all together, 3 plus 7 plus 8, it equals 18. And 1 plus 8 equals 9. Okay, so I know that I am in a 9 personal year, right? So let's, I just want to see a show of hands here. Like, do you guys know what your personal year is? Can you kind of pop it in the chat there? Just let me know if you know what your personal year is. Because what I want to do is lead you through just kind of a quick little presentation of what each one of the personal years mean. And then we're going to expand into how is your personal year going to be affected by this universal umbrella, that 9 influence of 2025, right? So let's just see who knows. Okay, so Roxy Mama, you're in a 3. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Sarah, you think you're in a 3. Okay. Relaxy Good 11 is 3. Okay, so a 3 personal year right now. Okay, lots of 3s. Hey, look at this. Hey, Brenda, good to see you. Yeah. Okay, lots of 3s in here. All good. All good. Look at that, another 3. That's amazing. Okay, so lots of people in the creative process. So we know that astrologers and numerologists are going to differ and disagree on when the personal year starts. Okay, James, you're a 3 as well. Yay, we got a 6 in the house with Jenny Penny. That's amazing. Awesome. Thanks for sharing, guys. So we know that January 1st, we go into a personal year, full cup of personal year, whatever your personal year is. Okay. For every day that we go by, we get a little splash of it. Now, astrologers are going to say, no, that starts on your birthday. Well, guess what, guys? Neither one of us can defend our cause. Neither one of us can prove which way is correct. So you honestly have to kind of feel your way into it. Okay. So, somebody born early in the year, January, February, March sort of thing, they're naturally going to feel the personal year in and around there because their birthday's in there as well, right? But it really depends on how you feel. It's not so much, I can't say this is set in stone, but I will say that me being the numerologist, I do observe that we look at the personal years and the universal years as starting in January. It's the only way that it makes sense to me. There are other facets that happen on your birthday, which we'll talk about at another time. But we're going to talk about the fact that January, you got a full cup of whatever. Many of you guys in here woke up with a full cup of 3. So we'll use that as an example. So for every day that went by from January until now, you're getting this little kick in the ass that say, come on, create something, express something, kick off that inner critic off your shoulder, express yourself in a unique way, expand on your social activities, get more involved in social groups and whatnot. Last year, in 2023, you didn't really feel like it. 2024, it's like, yeah, I kind of feel like being a little bit more social, right? So, but come October 1st, your cup, in your case of 3, is almost empty. And what happens is the energy of the 4 starts coming up over the threshold. And now you've kind of got 1 foot in the 3 personal year and 1 foot in the 4 personal year. So you're kind of split and torn a little bit, right? And that's okay, because what's happening is you're starting to warm up to the idea of moving into that 4 year. They don't just like throw you in, right? So we're going to give you a little time to kind of warm up to that. So the universal year also begins in January. So every January we get a new universal year, right? So this year it was 2024. We know that the whole universe, every single one of us, regardless of where we were in our own personal year, the energy of the 8 has been influencing us big time, right? And likewise, when we go into 2025 and it becomes a 9 universal year, regardless of where you are in your personal year, that 9 is also going to influence you, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit more about that here in a second. All right, let's move on to slide number 2. So your personal years. If you happen to be in a personal year of 1, we know that this is a year of new beginnings, new opportunities. This is about being a little bit more independent. It's about go time, lots of energy. The universe will naturally give you tons of energy to kind of get moving and feel inspired to do new things, right? This does not mean that you can't start something new somewhere else in this cycle. It just means that if you do it in a year of 1, chances are it's going to go a little bit more smoothly for you. The other thing with the year of 1 too is with the 1 also, not to be confused with the number 2, is that anything you do, anything you start, anything you initiate in your year of 1 is going to be nurtured for the next 9 years. Okay, because you can see we go from year 1 right to 9, and then we start back at 1 again. Okay, so if you're in a year of 1, you kind of want to know that, right? It's sort of important to know that, because you want to make sure that you're making some really good choices. I'm super excited because my year of 1 is coming up. So planting new seeds and making a difference. And I don't know how old you guys are, but I mean, I'm 65 years old, and there's a part of me that goes, how many kicks at the can have I got with the personal year of 1 beyond next year, right? So there's only 2 or 3 cycles left before it's all gone. So we want to make sure that we know where we're at. And it's important that we understand where our family is as well. Because, if I'm in a personal year of 1 full of beans and full of business, but my husband's in a year of 2 and he's kind of like, whoa, laid back, just kind of want to sit at home and be quiet. And I'm like, no, I want to go out, make new friends, do some new things. And he's like, no, I'm good. Kind of want to, just kind of chill a little bit. It's only a 12-month cycle, right? But it's important that we know that. It's important that we know where our kids are, where our spouses are, and even our coworkers and our family members. It's very important that we understand where they're at. If your teenager's in a personal year of 7, chances are they're going to go in their room January 1st, and you won't see them come out until December 31st. It's cool. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with them. That's a 7 year, right? So it's just kind of nice to know. When we transition into the 2 personal year, you're not going to find that you have as much energy, because remember, the universe will throw you forward in 1 year, bring you back in a 2. Why? because we have to rest and we have to restore. Okay, we have to gain our speed again. We have to kind of reflect upon the year before. The year of 2 is no longer going to be about you being number 1 anymore. The year of 2 is about you and one other person. Okay, so this can mean you and a partner. This could mean you and a child, or you and a parent, or you and a coworker, or whatever. Group dynamic, not so much. You're not really interested in going out and being social and hanging out with people and such. This is a year where you're kind of going to be quiet, want to stay home, have sort of quiet, intimate relationships. Maybe have a friend in, or maybe go out with a friend to the movies, but none of this big group stuff. It's too stressful for you because you're tired, right? You ran really hard in your year of 1. So year of 2 is resting. It's about partnership. It's about being patient. You started stuff. You planted your seeds in the year of 1. Year of 2 is like, okay, we're just going to nurture them a little bit. We're just going to let them take their course. Being very diplomatic here. As we come into the fall or October of your personal year of 2, you're going to start getting your energy back, right? Year of 1 throws you forward. Year of 2 brings you back. Year of 3 throws you forward. So you're starting to gain your energy again. You start getting a little bit more interested in being a bit more social, a little bit more creative, some expansion going on. Maybe starting out into some new social groups, expanding in that respect. All good, right? And again, when you come into October of your personal year of 3, you'll start to be sitting back going, you know what? I played really hardy this year. I had a lot of fun. I was out with a lot of friends and did a whole bunch of stuff. I got to get back to work, man. I got to get focused because I kind of figured around a whole bunch of time and stuff last year. So it's time for me to get a little bit more serious. So you flip into your personal year of 4. Personal year of 4 is going to be asking you to be very focused, very disciplined, and very work-oriented. When we think of the number 4, I want you to think of foundations, right? 4 posts into the ground create a foundation. So when we're in our personal year of 4, we're thinking about what is our foundation? Do I need to go back to school to, maybe expand on my degree or something? Do I need to make some good investments? Is it time to build a business, create a business plan? Those sorts of things. So this is a very kind of a grounded year where you would have found that the year of 3 was kind of up here. And you'll find that there's polar opposites going on here. The year of 1, it's all about you. The year of 2, and lots of energy. The year of 2 is not all about you. It's about you and one other person, no energy, right? When we get into the year of 3, it's all of a sudden it's not about you and one other person. It's you and the crowd, right? And the energy comes back. So you'll see that there's a pro and a con. There's it's like an ebb and a tide, if you will. So when we're in our year of 4, we have a tendency to be very focused on our work, but you have to be very careful in your year of 4 because the ability to focus is acute. But what we have a tendency to focus on is more about where we're stuck, what we don't like, what are the things that irritate us the most, the stuff that just irritates the crap out of us. That's what we'll focus on more. So whenever we throw our energy, attention, and focus out there, it's going to get bigger, right? So we want to make sure that we're focusing on what is good, what you do want to manifest. When we come into the year of 5, polar opposite of the year of 4. The year of 4 says, I got to be straight and narrow. I got to be on time. I got to be scheduled. I got to be focused and disciplined and all that. And the year of 5 goes, no, not going to do it, right? I want my freedom. It's like you've been wearing a straitjacket all the personal year of 4, and they come into the year of 5, and it's like, woohoo, I'm done. Like I'm out of my jail. So it's about freedom and it's about change, but it's also about unexpected events. Didn't see that coming, right? This is a year to be very proactive. This is the year to check your drains. Make sure you've got an emergency kit in your home and in your car. Make sure there's a little stash of money put aside if you can that is there for emergencies. So the 5 can be a fun year. It's a very experiential year. It's a great year to travel, especially if you're going out to learn something, right? But it can be very scattered and you can feel extremely restless in the year of 5. Well, after our year of 5, we move into our year of 6, right? So the year of 6 is a polar opposite of the 5. 5 says it's all about me and I want my freedom. And the 6 says, yeah, well, the party's over. Now it's time for you to be responsible to your family, right? So this might be, I don't know, maybe you're having a baby. Maybe the family's expanding. Maybe your mom or your dad needs more attention than what you're used to giving them. Maybe your brother or sister is going through some kind of drama, or one of your kids. Very family oriented, very family focused in the year of 6. I call it the year of family drama, but some have corrected me to say, well, let's rather than call it drama, let's call it focus. I'm like, well, You do you, I'll do me. Still family drama. A real need for perfectionism and a real need to be responsible. And after a year of being totally responsible to your family, having them in your face all the time, being with them, supporting them, doing the whole thing, maybe carrying some of their debt load, whatever. The year 7 is a welcome bit of relief because it says, back off, people. I'm going in my cave. I don't want to see you for a whole year. I am done with you guys. So I'm going into the year of 7. The year 7 is very introspective. It's very reflective. It's very spiritual. It's when you're sort of thinking about what's my next move. It's almost like you put a pause on your life. You're going year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's go, 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 make things happen. You come into your year 7. It's like, time out. Got to sit on the bench for a while. Got to figure this stuff out. So yeah, the danger of the 7 is you get right up here, right? And I am the poster child for the 7s. You can't take that from me. I'm a 7 life path, born on the 25th day, and I have a 7 karmic lesson. So I got the hat trick on 7s. So we do like our time by ourselves. We do like to spend time out in nature. We do like to meditate and just kind of, be in our own company. But the problem is that the 7 is a very heady number where we're always in our heads. And when you go into a personal year of 7, that's really where you go. So I discourage you from making any big decisions in a year of 7 because you're going to second guess your decision. You're going to be saying, oh, I don't know. Was it the right thing to do? Is that something that was, the right decision? So the 7 would be the year to think about it. But if I had to make a big decision about anything, I definitely would not be doing it before maybe October of a personal year of 7, because you haven't thought it through enough. You can't get to your heart, right? You're too invested in your head, so you can't really drop to your heart to have a heartfelt decision. However, once you're through with your year of 7 and you start moving into your year of 8, you start thinking about, oh, well, I've had a whole year to think about what I wanted to do, what I wanted to manifest, and now I'm in my year of 8. My energy's back. I'm out of the closet. I'm jumping in front of the bus. I'm just doing it. I'm manifesting things. This is a material focus. This is all about my own personal power. The 8 is a year where you can finally create form out of whatever it is you've been thinking about. So maybe it's an investment, maybe it's a new job, maybe it's a business. Hard to say, but it's typically a very good year for financial gain. After we're all done with our financial gain, we come into our personal year of 9. So the personal year of 9 is one of my favorites because I like to think that we travel with a trunk. Okay, it's a metaphorical trunk. We all have a trunk. In our year of 1, our trunk better be empty because we're traveling a long journey right up until our year of 9. So we want to make sure that trunk is pretty empty. And for every year that goes by, we're going to throw stuff in our trunk. And by the time we get to our personal year of 9 in January, you open up your trunk and you look inside and the thing is full, right? It's full of people you've outgrown. It's full of stuff you don't need anymore. It's full of limiting beliefs that you need to get rid of, right? So I really like the energy of the 9 because it sets me up to basically declutter on all levels of my life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Declutter, let it go. That way we're sending out a message to the universe to say, hey, I'm doing my part, cleaning up my trunk, right? Look at that, created some space, got rid of that dead wood out of the trunk so you can bring me some new people that might be a little bit more interesting and supportive to the direction my life is going in, right? So, and the 9 has a very humanitarian feel to it, right? It's all about endings. It's all about releasing, but it's also about what can I do for humanity? Now, the 9 also relates to being very empathic. So you'll find that when you're in a personal year of 9, you might become very sentimental and very sensitive, right? You're being asked to release your stuff, and then that can be a belief. It can also be, I think about the demi-tasse cups that were given to me by my grandmother. And I just don't want to dust anything anymore, right? And they used to mean something to me. They used to be very personal to me, but I've kind of outgrown them. So my responsibility now is to make sure that I find somebody I can pass them on to who will appreciate them, right? So it's just moving energy. It's all just about energy, right? Okay, so let's move on and let's take a look at how your personal years are going to be affected by the vibration of the 9, which is coming in from 2025. So those of you who are in a personal year of 1, and I'd love to hear from you if you're in a personal year of 1. Maybe just post in the comments there. This is going to be a year to let go of control. That's kind of hard for some people, depending on what your chart looks like. But it's not about you anymore, right? The focus is going to be on the collective. Okay, it's going to be on humanity. It's going to be on your neighborhood. It's going to be on your country. It's going to be a much bigger focus than just on you. But it's about letting go of the need for control. It's about learning how to share and play nice in the sandbox a little bit better. It's going to be kind of conflicting, honestly, because you'll be in it's sort of like me in a sense. Next year, I'm going into a 1 personal year under the umbrella of the 9 universal vibration. Okay. Now, if you're in a personal year of 1 and you're going into next year, you'll be, if you're in a personal year of 1 in 2025, you'll have that personal year of 1, you'll have the 9 vibration over top of you. So it's saying, the personal year of 1 is saying, oh, let's do a new beginning. Let's make something happen. Let's get something started. Whereas the 9 is saying, whoa, step back. You still got some stuff you got to get rid of. You still got stuff you've got to release. There's still some limiting beliefs happening in here. Maybe you've got this scarcity mentality. Maybe you don't feel very confident. Maybe you've got some limiting beliefs there that we need to release so that you really can enjoy a 1 personal year, right? So it's going to be a little bit of a conflict for you guys. Now, when we come into a personal year of 2, this is where we want to unleash. We want to release unhealthy relationships and avoid codependency. Remember, the 9 influence is about letting go. So you look at your personal year and go, well, what is it I'm supposed to let go of? Oh, the personal year is about partnerships, right? It's about collaborations. It's about team efforts. It's also about sensitivity. Maybe you've become a bit of a drama queen, and you're allowing your sensitivity to kind of drive the bus. Maybe you don't feel confident, so you use your sensitivity to ward people away, right? To keep them away from you. You have a hissy fit, you have a meltdown, whatever, in an effort to kind of keep people at distance so that you don't really have to show up. Maybe it's time to let that go. So whenever we're looking at the 9 influence over any of these personal years, you got to look at the personal year and go, oh, there's a clue as to what I'm supposed to be looking at, releasing and letting go of. So those of you who are going into a personal year of 2 will likely be looking at a lot of the relationships that you have and questioning which ones are worth keeping and which ones aren't. Which ones have I outgrown, which ones need to kind of move on because they're kind of dragging me down. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I've become very scarce on Facebook recently because I'm just finding everybody seems to be a little bit cranky and they're having this big bitch fest. Are you guys feeling that? It's like it's just heavy. Like the information is really, really heavy, and even some of the videos that come up on TikTok and on Instagram and whatnot, it's just like really, really heavy stuff. And I'm like, geez, this is too much. I don't need to surround myself in this. So I'm choosing to kind of step back from it. And I feel that is our responsibility, is to recognize what is sucking the life out of us. Are you aimlessly just, scrolling through your feeds all the time? And you actually start to believe that all those people on Facebook know who you are and really give a shit about you, right? And it's not true. It is just not true. So this is something you need to be a little bit careful about. Those of you who are in a year of 5, this is going to be a year when you'll experience change, unexpected events, a little bit of restlessness. But how you can be of service to us is to help others to transition, help them to transform, help them to end what they need to end. So maybe you have a friend who is an addict, right? Is really trying to kick a habit. Maybe it's alcohol or drugs or something. This would be a really good year for you to help out in that respect. So it's also about looking at what reckless tendencies do you have. Are you somebody who speeds on the highway all the time? Are you somebody who texts and drives? Are you somebody who drinks and drives? What habits do you have that could be improved upon that you might need to release? Okay. The 9 influence, universal year of the 9, is what do I need to end? The 5 is a very addictive energy, right? It's a very transient, addictive, restless kind of an energy. So it asks us to look at what behavior do I need to stop, right? Am I reckless in that I spend my paycheck as fast as it comes in? It's a possibility. When we go into the year of 6, remember the 5 is about your freedom. The 5 says, I've got, let me see, I got $2,200 worth of credit on my credit card available to me before it's tapped out. My friend wants to go to the Bahamas or whatever for the week. The trip's like $2,100. Yeah, I'm there, right? So that's the 5. The 5 is like that spontaneous decision, but it can be a little reckless and not really well thought out, okay? But when we come into that year of 6, the 6 says, time out. It's time to get responsible again, right? Time to put on the big boy and big girl panties. So, but the 6 is also the year that brings in that energy that makes us feel like we have to be of service to our homes and to our family. Always have to do the right thing, always have to be there to support them. Be the one that sets up the whole family reunions, just the unreasonable need to be of service to home and family. Now, it could be that in your personal year of 6, it could be that you have a lot of demands on you because the 6 brings that in. You might have a parent that's not doing well, might need your attention. Maybe it's time to downsize where they're living, your parents, and move them into a home or something. Maybe it's the year that your kids are going off to college. There's all kinds of things that can happen in the personal year 6. It's also related to your animals as well and your work, your service to your work family as well. But you have to avoid in your personal year 6 in this 9 vibration umbrella, avoiding burning out, because the 6 can become of servitude to everybody, this big need to be of service. All of a sudden they become the doormat. So you're going to have to learn how to kind of pace yourself, set some healthy boundaries so that you avoid burning out with your incessant need to be of service. So setting those healthy boundaries and being of service to others. Maybe this is a time, because of that 9 influence, which is around the endings, maybe it's time for you to say, no, little brother, stop coming to me to ask for money to pay your cell phone bill every month. That's going to stop right now. I'm not doing that anymore, right? You got to fly on your own. It's just basically putting a stop to something. Maybe your father is a narcissist and his behavior is deplorable, and you finally stand up to him to go, it stops here. Right? This behavior here within our family stops here. Okay. Now, when you move into the year of 7, you kind of go, I'm out. Right? I don't want to hang out with you people anymore. I am tired. I am so tired of hanging out with people, fixing everything, being of service to everybody but me. I am going down under, and I'm going in my man cave or my woman cave, and you won't see me for a year. So what you're going to need to do in 2025 is balance your need for solitude, to sit out in the woods all by yourself, with social responsibilities. Remember, the 9 is the year of service to humanity. The universal year of 9 is to be of service to humanity. So this might be the year when you're really thinking about, all right, maybe I haven't been giving back enough. Maybe I should consider being of service to the food bank or an after-school program or teaching English to immigrants or whatever, It has a very large social influence to it, humanitarian influence to it. So you might be thinking about that. But this is a very spiritual year as well. Who is God? Who are the angels? Who do I pray to? Do I want to study Buddhism? Do I want to study Christianity? Do I want, where do I fit in all of this? But again, this is a 7 year where you are thinking, okay, what are you thinking about? Well, what's the 9 mean? The 9 means I got to end something, okay? So the 9 influence is going to say, all right, I want you to think about what it is you need to end. Make sense? Being careful that, like, if you're considering ending a relationship, I want you to be a little careful with that you don't just jump all over that, because you need to think about it. You need to take some time. And the problem is that because you're so far in your head in a personal year of 7, you might make a decision that you'll second guess and you'll really question, and your self-doubt will come in hardcore. So, however, once you're done thinking, once you're done spending time out in the corner in your office or out in the woods or wherever, you're going to shift into your personal year of 8. The personal year of 8 is going to ask you to kind of get out of your head It's going to say, okay, you've had the whole year to think about what you want to do. How are you going to do it now? Now, rather than being a year of personal gain for yourself, about making all the money for yourself, this is actually going to be a year where the focus is on the greater good rather than the personal gain. So this might be, agreeing to raise money for a particular cause. Maybe you're selling tickets, or, helping out your son's soccer team, or whatever, right? It's just more of a volunteer kind of effort. And your focus should be not so much on how do I make money for myself, but more so how can I be of service? Okay, so if you are self-employed, for example, rather than going, oh God, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to, all of this? Rather than worrying about all that, how about you get yourself into a headspace that says, how can I be of service? Because I promise you, when you put it out there to say, how can I be of service? The universe will bring you all kinds of clients and customers to work with. So it's really that simple. When we are done with the 8 and we're manifesting things and we're taking back our power and we're deciding, how we're going to make sure that people are treating us the way we want to be treated, we shift into our final year of the cycle, which is the year of 9. And this will be interesting. Those of you who are going into the personal year of 9 in a 9 universal year, it's like a double whammy of a focus away from yourself and onto everybody else. This is a time when you're going to be leading others through healing and through transformation and letting go of the past. This is a really awesome year to do a lot of ancestral healing. What else? It's going to be a really good year to transform who you've been. It's going to challenge you to look at things a little differently. How can I explain that? I had a situation in my life many, many years ago that really hurt me, right? And it has affected me in a negative way, and it has for years. And I'll just tell you what it is. When I was 20 years old, my mother chased me into a marriage, which I wasn't ready for. I wasn't interested in marrying this man. I was with him, had been with him for a few years, but wasn't looking to get married. But I was moving away. I was moving from my home in Ontario down to the East Coast. And I was moving with my boyfriend. And back in the 70s, that was like, you don't do that, right? I had my own apartment. I signed my own lease. I wanted to be independent, Sure, we were moving together, but whatever. But shortly before we were getting ready to leave, my mom came to me and she said, if you're even thinking about getting married, you might want to consider doing it before you leave, because it would be very expensive and it would be very inconsiderate of you to put us through those expenses of trying to arrange a wedding from a distance. So she plays the guilt card, right? For which I fell right into her lap. And of course I got married. Now, all those years, the marriage only lasted a couple of years. Surprise, surprise. But all of those years, I resented my mom for chasing me into the marriage. What I didn't consider until recently, when I was doing some ancestral healing, what I didn't realize was that the resentment that I had is, as I look back on it now, the way I interpreted this was I wasn't safe to be on my own. It wasn't safe for me to leave my home to be on my own, right? That wasn't my fear. That was my mother's fear. And it was projected on me. But how I interpreted it was, she doesn't think I am confident enough or independent enough to be able to make it on my own. Therefore, she's going to set this up and send the safeguard out for me to make her feel better. So I was pissed off, right? But as we start peeling off the layers, as we're all going to be doing next year, moving into our 9 universal year, we have to really consider perspective. Is that really what she intended? Or did I take it that way? How do we know? My mom's passed. We're never going to know for sure. But it doesn't matter. The fact is, I interpreted it that way. So if I can interpret it that way, I can also make a different decision and let that go. Okay, so that's just one area that I'm really going to want you to think about for next year, because you will be called to do a lot of healing work. You will be taken back in time. You will be reflecting on the past. That is what the 9 does. That's what the energy of the 9 does. So those of you who are in a 9 personal year and the 9 universal year, it's going to be a double whammy for you for sure, but not impossible, right? Not impossible. There are pros and cons, I know lots of people who travel what we call the epicycle, the 9-year cycle. There are lots of people who travel that at the same time as the universe does, right? So there's some of you here who are currently in an 8 personal year, and Debbie, Shifting Veils, she's in an 8 personal year, right? In an 8 universal year. She's always going to be in alignment as she goes. She's always going to be in alignment with universal energy. So there'll never be a conflict, right? But there are some years, that are better lined up than others. For example, if you happen to be in a 1 personal year, in an 8 universal year, that's a great lineup, right? Those are 2 ambitious, masculine energies. Let's get it done. Let's make it happen. Let's manifest it. The 1 is about start something new. The 8's all about let's manifest something amazing. So yeah, there are some lineups that are really quite good. There's another factor too, which we're not going to talk about tonight, but maybe I'll do it coming up. It's something that very few numerologists ever even talk about. I don't even get it. I don't understand it because it's so important. If you're in a personal year of 7, and I am in a personal year of 7, I'm going to say, you know what? You and I, we're going to feel like we want to be a little bit reclusive this year. We're going to want to be a little bit more quiet and by ourselves and not really connected to the whole group dynamic and such. Both of us are going to feel that because a 7 is a 7 is a 7. It's the same for everybody. So I want you to think of these 9 years that we just talked about as a black and white template. Okay. Every one of those years is a black and white template. It's the same for you, same for me. But the magic comes from your name on your birth certificate. So when I do personal readings for people, the first thing I'm going to look at after I've looked at the life path and their 4 core numbers is, what is the essence going on? Okay. Your birth name is going to tell me how you're going to go through that personal year of 7 or 8 or whatever you're in, right? It's going to tell me. So you might be in a 7 year and I could be in a 7 year, but you're going to go through it very differently than I am. Maybe you have a 9 essence. This is you thinking, 7, about what you need to release and let go of, the 9. Maybe I'm in a 7 personal year, but I have a 2 essence. What am I thinking about? You know it, partnerships, right? So I can really dial it down by looking at all your, and I love to do that, look at all your cycles and whatnot. And the other interesting thing about this is we can take this, and I think this is very important, we can take this and flip it back in time. One of the reasons I'm sitting here today talking to you guys is because back in 2003 maybe, I went through what I would consider to be the dark night of the soul. And I was in a very dark place. It was not a good place. I was in a 6 personal year, which is all about the family drama. I wanted to leave my husband. I wanted to leave my home. I wanted to leave my kids. I was in a dark, ugly place. When I discovered numerology and that the essence was something that I could explore on a chart, I thought, holy shit, I've got to go back and in time and look and see what the heck was going on in 2003. And I went back and looked at it and I could see I went into a real crap hole in March of 2003. But on my chart, it said, you're going to come out of it in March of 2004. Had I known that, I would have gone through it much differently. I would not have suffered. I wouldn't have suffered so badly through it, because when you're in it, guys, you don't know when it's going to end. If you're in a shithole, you have no idea. You know when it started, maybe, but you're like, is this ever going to end? Is life ever going to get better? That's something we can see on a chart. We can see when you go into it. So sometimes I'll take a chart and I'll flip it back and go, do you remember back in 2003 when you were in a real crappy place? Well, yes, I do. Do you remember when you came out of it in 2004? Yeah, I did. Okay, there you go, right? There's validation. So that's what I do sometimes. And that's what I had to do for myself, so that now I know. I've been in the same essence now for, I think, 4 years. And it's been difficult because it's a karmic debt essence, which is a 14-5 in my case, which talks about wanting freedom, wanting change, wanting to expand, But the 4 in the 14/5, 14/5, the 4 says, no, you can't have change. But I want change. Nope, can't have it. I want to take a day off. Nope, got to work. I want to spend some money. No, got to save it. So this is kind of frustrating, but I know it, right? And I know that it's going to end on my birthday. So next year. So it's okay. I can live with that. I know there's an end to the dark tunnel. Okay. So we don't have to live in a dark tunnel by ourselves. Get a numerologist to do your reading for you, whether it's me or somebody else. I don't care, but find somebody who can break this down for you, because it's really, really important information. And in retrospect, when I think back to that 6th personal year that I was in, the domestic drama, why I knew it was such a bad space was I had another karmic debt essence, which was really tough, but it was just for a 12-month period. And again, had I known going into it that I was going into it, but I would come out on the other side, I'd be okay. I wouldn't have stressed half as much, because, anyway, enough about that. Okay, so we've gone through all of these years. So you know what your personal year is. You know how the 9 is going to affect you personally. Selfless plug here. 8th of December, we are hosting our 6 Psychics Under One Roof event. The purpose of this event is to make sure that you guys are aware of how 2025 is going to affect you personally. So we put 6 psychics under one roof in a Zoom room that you guys all sit in on. And each one of the psychics will give a little presentation as to what they feel is going to be coming up. So we have a psychic medium, we have a human design gene keys expert, we've got myself who does the numerology, we have someone who is a channeler, another person who is the angel communicator, all kinds of cool stuff, right? You can check it out on my website. 6 Psychics Under One Roof. It's just AnnPerryNumerologist.com. But check it out, because I'm telling you, this event, 84% of the people who have attended over the last 6 years return every year. So it's really well attended. It's $47, and it's like over 2 hours of connecting to 6 different psychics, all very, very well known, very, very good psychics. What else was I going to tell you about that? It's recorded, so if you're not available on that day, it's okay. You'll get the recording anyways. You get some bonuses afterwards and some good stuff. But I would love for you to be there, because it's great. And you can actually, like we're doing right now, you can type in your question and you can direct it at a particular psychic, and they will do their best to answer your question for you. So there is that. All right. Okay. Who's got questions? Maybe I've got some answers for you. Who knows? Debbie says, I started my own channel this year and I'm in an 8. You go, girl. That's awesome. Good for you. So next year, when you go into that 9 personal year, and you'll be in that 9 universal year as well, you want to really look at what is it that I need to release and let go of, so that I can put more time into my channel, right? Maybe it's, you can't be doing the work all by yourself all the time anymore. Okay, stars with Stacy. Personal year of 2. Okay, so this energy's been a little bit low this year for you. Maybe a little depressed, possibly, because I find that the energy of the 2 is a little bit low, because you're coming off the heels of the personal year of 1 that was yours in 2023, right? So it's go, 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 and all of a sudden, 2024 comes along. It's like, you hit a wall, right? So your energy is coming back. That's a good thing. Now, guys, remember, you only get one kick at the cat once in a 9-year cycle to harness the energy the universe is giving you. Okay, so if by chance you happen to be in a 3 personal year, you are not going to see that 3 personal year vibration supporting you like it's going to next year for another 9 years, right? And especially speaking to those ones who are in the personal year of 1s, all about the new beginnings, planting those seeds. It's so important. The 2 is about the relationship. The 3 is your creative expression. The 4 is your focus on creating a solid foundation for yourself. You don't get to visit this again for 9 years. So get familiar with what these energies have to offer you and take advantage of them. Sarah, I'm not going to talk about, or I'm not going to show you how to do the essences here because it takes too long. It's quite a long and involved process, to be perfectly honest. When I do a chart up for somebody, I do like 3 years worth of it, but I have to do it on the computer. There's no way I can do it I mean, I could do it by hand, but it would take me a week to do it. So it is all based on your birth name, but there's a strategy work to do it, to bring it all down. I do have a video on YouTube. What is it called? Hang on. I believe it's called There's More to Know Than Your Personal Year. Check that out. I believe it's called There's More to Know Than Your Personal Year, and it's discussed in that video. Let's see here. We're actually good 11. Okay, so that's kind of off topic, but quickly I'm going to say, if you're saying if my first name adds up to the 2911 and I was born on an 11 day, what does that really mean? Okay, so it's a lot of 11 energy in there for sure. Your first name is what we call your growth number, and it will give you a clue as to what it is you're meant to grow into. Okay, so for example, many of you know that when I first went on YouTube a bazillion years ago, it seems, I was focusing on mentoring to the master number 11s. I never understood, why the heck me? I'm not a master number 11. Why do you keep sending me these people who need help, with regards to master number 11? I just don't get it. And then a couple of years later, I was studying the growth number, and I realized that my name, ANN, has a growth number of, you guessed it, an 11. So that meant that even though I'm a 7 life path number, I aspire to grow into my 11ness through, is there such a word? Through my growth number of the 11. Okay, so that gave me a clue. The 7 is a spiritual teacher. Who am I supposed to be teaching and inspiring? The master 11s. Hello, right? So it just brought a little bit more depth into my work as a numerologist. Okay, so in the case of being born on the 29th day, you're not just an 11. You have the sub lessons related to the number 2 and also the number 9. Okay, so the 2 is learning how to partner up with people, but the 9 is also about the willingness to be of service to humanity, right? To help others, to help themselves. So it's not just an 11. It's not just about bringing down the messages and being the illuminator and all that. It has more depth to it than that. So you might want to watch some of my videos on that. Hopefully that helps. How does the universal year impact or affect a country or its government? Way to go, Brenda. Give me the hard questions. I love you just the same. How does the universal year impact or affect a country or its government? Oh, well, I mean, I hesitate. Given the election and everything else last week, I kind of hesitate to comment on that. But I absolutely, I feel that there is an awful lot of influence that's going to happen related to the 9. I'm hopeful that maybe some of the issues related to the war, the 9 is the endings, right? The 9 is about empathy, compassion, healing, seeing things through different perspectives and through different eyes, acknowledging trauma and letting trauma go. So there might be a bigger focus on mental health. You might see more advertisements, about mental health. And you might see more advertisements to join the military, because the 9s are typically military focused, right? Because they want to be the humanitarians. So that's a great question. Yeah, and major governments may collapse. 100%. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's a little bit disconcerting, but it can go both ways, right? Because each number has a different vibration to it. There's a positive side, there's a negative side to each one of the vibrations. So it can work for us and it can work against us. But it's our job. I think it's important for us to understand that as we believe, so it is. If you think your government is shit, so it is, right? If you feel that, the government's going to collapse, then quite likely it might. So we have to keep our vibration. We have to have a sense of responsibility to humanity, particularly humanity next year. This includes your environment, includes nature, trees, eating clean, not throwing your garbage out the window, taking care of the animals, animal welfare, all that kind of stuff, feeding your food banks, picking up the extra can of food or whatever when you're shopping, throw it in the bin. Yeah, it's going to be a big focus in that respect. Big responsibility for all of us. Okay, so that's a good question too. Relax, you good lovin'. Can you explain having an 18-9 soul urge? Well, I don't really look so much as at the composites on soul urge number. I do when it comes to a life path number because that's a lesson number, or the day of birth is a lesson number. But when we look at the soul urge or the heart's desire number, which comes from the vowels in your birth name, I simply look at the simple number, which is in your case a 9. So I feel, the 9, you're already somebody who's an empath. The 9 energy is the empath. The 9 is somebody who has an inclination to want to fix things, right? So I feel like it's going to be very difficult, if it isn't already, for you to watch the news, because the suffering of humanity and the environment and animals and all of it is just too hard for you to bear. So make sure that you leave a lot of space and time for your own self-care. That's going to be very important for you. That influence of the 9 says, I want to be Superman. I want to jump in. I want to save the world. That's what I love to do anyways. Being super empathetic, for sure. Being very, very sensitive. But the inclination is, I want to fix this, right? If there's a problem, I just want to swoop in and fix it, because the 9s love to feel like the heroes, right? I know, I'm married to one. But we have to remember that the 9 is really here to learn how to help people to help themselves. Take the spotlight off of yourself, off of the need to be the hero, and find ways to help people to help themselves. So I hope that helps. Roxy Mama, my soul number is a 9. I'm checking for a while. Yeah. Checking out for a while. Yeah, you know what? I respect that, Roxy Mama. I really do. It's like I said earlier, I had somebody send me a video today, and it was somebody was bashing Trump and whatever. Sorry guys, I'm Canadian, so it's not that I don't care about the American politics. I absolutely do, and I watched it all the way from start to finish. But I just don't buy into all the drama and all the daggers flying and that kind of stuff. And I just sent her a message, very good friend of mine. I said, I'm sorry, but this kind of stuff lowers my vibration, and I'm working way too hard to keep my vibes high. So I'm out. I'm checking out. I'm not scrolling through Facebook right now. I'm not scrolling through Instagram and all those things. I am really trying to take a step back from it to preserve me, so that I can nurture me. If I can't nurture myself, I can't nurture you, right? So I have to preserve my energy, and that means checking out, staying off that stuff. Let's see, what else we got? Who else has got a question for me? I got a couple more minutes. Okay. Susan's saying she can totally relate to the cups. Good. Awesome. Is there anybody who's like, I hear you, Raven 11. Absolutely. But I have to say, your politics are way more entertaining than the Canadian politics. just putting that out there. Anyway, anybody out there who's a little nervous about going into their personal year, or excited about it? What's your feelings on it? How do you feel about the shift that you're about to make? I'd be curious to see. I know I'm kind of excited. I mean, heck, does an 8 a little off topic again. You're good. Relax. You good. 8 life path clash with a 6 expression. No. The 8 is the manifestor. The 8 is the manager. The 8 likes to get it done, likes to be materially successful and whatnot. And the 6 wants to be of service, right? And a bit of a perfectionist. So no, I think that's actually quite a good connection. Yeah, Brenda, thinking there's a big shift coming, and I'm leaning into it with high vibration. Again, I don't know anything much about astrology, but I've been reading a little bit recently about this full moon that we've got coming in, and apparently it's going to be something that is not nearly as intense as the last one. It's going to be a little bit gentler. So I'm going to encourage you all to write down what you're choosing to release and let go of. Okay. Is there a fear that you know it's just time for it to go? Is there a limiting belief of some kind? Is there a person that you've got to say goodbye to? Is it a commitment that you have to make to releasing your connection to a job? Like, what is it? Write it down on Friday. Write it down on a piece of paper. And you're going to say, right now, I am choosing to release this limiting belief of whatever the shit is that you want to go. Take it outside and burn it. Okay. Only someplace that you're not going to burn the whole state down or country or whatever. Don't be careless. But I want you to burn it, right? Ceremoniously burn it. It's very, 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 very powerful, right? I have a talk coming up. I don't know, maybe just think of it. Tracy Fance is from the UK, and Tracy is going to be one of my teachers in the Clarity Seekers community. Let me put that up for you so you can see. Hang on. Can I be that smart? There. Yeah, this is my Clarity Seekers community. This is where we hang out all the time. If you guys want to hang out more with me, this is where I am. Tracy Fance is going to be talking to us about how our body speaks our mind. And I want to tell you guys, I had the most amazing experience with her the other day. I've been having some pretty bad back pain for quite a while. And I know it's related to the past because it's in the back, right? If it was in the front, then it's related to the present time. No, this is in the back. So this is old stuff. And so we're going to be talking a lot, on the heels of going into our 9 vibration, we're going to be talking about how do we release the pain in our body? How do we release the traumas that we've experienced? How do we release the bad memories that we have so they don't continue to affect us in a negative way? I think it's December 10th in there. If you go to my website, there's the event listing in there and you can see it. But boys, if you only tune in just for one, it's a pretty good, it's going to be a very powerful event for sure. So, excuse me. Okay, so we got that. Awesome. Thanks, Brenda, for answering that. Amazing. You go to the head of the class. Anybody else got any quick questions before I close her down for tonight? Any fears about going into next year? Any excitement? Are you concerned about where your husband's going to be or your wife's going to be? Where you guys are going to be at the same time? I'm here for you now, but only for another couple of minutes. I'm kind of enjoying this Wednesday night thing. Are you guys liking this? So I'm a life path 9 going into 2025, personal year of 7. So I think, Rowan, what you're going to be thinking about would be a lot of what do I need to let go of? What's standing in my way? Is it a career? Is it a relationship? Is it a habit? What is it that, is it a trauma? Is it, what is it? I think you'll be really giving a lot of consideration to what it is you want to release. The year 7 is going to cause you to feel introspective and reflective, a need to really spend time by yourself, which will be in conflict with the 9 vibration for the universal year that says, come on, would you go, go out and dig ditches for your community and go feed the homeless and go, take care of the starving animals and all that stuff, because that's kind of what the 9 does. But you're like, I just want to be by myself, right? So you're going to have a little bit of a conflict in that respect. So balance really is balance, making sure that you do have enough time. Everybody goes through a 7 personal year. It's my least favorite year of all time because I am a 7. I don't know how the 7 can go any further in her head, but that's what happens. So don't make any big choices next year. Just give thoughts to what needs to shift. What do you need to move out of the way so that you can really kill it in 2026 when you go into your 8 personal year. Okay, Raven 11, fearing big changes. Fearing great changes related especially to your career. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Fear is a choice, right? So when that emotion comes up and you start feeling the fear around, maybe there's some talk around the office, who's going to be let go, or downsizing, or whatever's going on. Okay. You can choose, you get two choices. You either be afraid or be at peace, right? It really is up to you. But I recognize that the fear is real. I'm not going to, diss that. It is real. However, what I want you to think about is, when the fear comes up, I want you to say, right now, I'm just choosing to be fearful. Because what's going to happen is this little voice, you've all heard me say this little voice is going to kick in your head, right? And it's going to go, seriously, Raven, 11, serious? You're choosing fear again? Not a good choice, right? Look at how you feel when you choose fear. And immediately you kick in and go, right, I thought this conversation was causing me to be fearful. I thought this situation was causing me fearful. I get to choose how I feel. Right? You're always in control of how you feel, always. So I'm not going to say don't be fearful, but I am going to say choose it, own it, because you can't move from it if you don't own it. If you say this is making me fearful, you're a victim. Done, right? If you say I'm choosing to be afraid, you're also saying, but I can choose to be at peace when I'm ready. Okay? So as those ugly fears kind of raise their heads, that's what I want you to do. No. Relax, you good, 11. I'm going to challenge you on that. I'm always so anxious and nervous all the time because of my soul urge 9. No. See, you just became a victim to your 9, to your heart's desire 9. You are empathic. I'll give you that. There's no question. You're very sensitive. But anxiety and being nervous is a choice, right? So make a different choice. You'll be cool. I do have Relax You Good 11. I just put on a reading, which I haven't done like in a long time, and it's called a Need to Know Now reading. You can check it out on my website. It's just a 60-minute reading. So it's significantly less expensive. So you might want to check on that, because it'll give you a lot of information. I cram out, you don't get a whole lot of room to talk because I just cram out all the information to you. But yes, you can certainly check that out. It's good for that. Shinika, Life Path 11, personal year 2025 is a 4. Okay, so the 4 is going to be a lot to do with your focus, making sure that you are only focusing on what it is you want to manifest. Okay, understanding that anything you give your energy, attention, and focus to, it's going to get bigger, right? So you might as well focus on what it is you want. So every time you go into a have-not mentality, scarcity mentality, or this isn't working, or this is crappy, or whatever, you got to turn around. You know what? Here's an example. I hate unloading my dishwasher. Okay, I just do. Every time I get to the dishwasher and someone else hasn't done it, I'm like, shit, I got to do this. I hate this. And immediately I go, but you know what? I have a dishwasher and I am grateful for my dishwasher. Might sound kind of simple, but it's what you got to do, right? I don't like this. Snap out of it. What do you like and what do you have? Focus on the benefits, right? So the 11 is very tuned in, very sensitive, very intuitive. And you can get a little too hung up on what's not right, because you feel a lot, right? So we want to make sure that you're focusing on the good stuff. Mad Jad, have I heard of Zirka? No, I have not. Do I need to hear about Zirka? Rohit, good to see you. Yeah, good to see you, buddy. I'm glad you're here. Personal year 8 in 2025, you're going to kill it. We already talked about this in your reading, right? You've got this. You're going to be fine. Personal year of 8 in 2025, maybe making some shifts in your job, the way that you make your money. It's all good. You know that. You were smart enough to come to me first. So you got all the goop. And you've got your don't forget, you've got your monthly forecast too, right? Because I did a 2-year monthly forecast for you so that you can project ahead and have that navigational tool. Hey, Janice, Life Path 11, personal year 7. I was definitely thinking of hibernating next year. Well, that's just because you're tired. You're just coming out of your 6th personal year. 6 personal years sucks the life out of you, right? Especially for someone who is a Life Path 11. You're sensitive and you want to be of service to everybody, and you want to make sure everything goes really, really well and nobody gets upset. And, so you expend so much energy making sure everything's just right, especially in the year of 6. Yeah, you deserve a break today. So going into your 7 personal year, give yourself some time. The other thing I want to talk a little bit about before I let you guys go is that we do have that shoulder season, right? So we know that when we go into October, we're almost done with that current year. Okay, so Rohit, in your case, you've been in a personal year of 7 all of 2024. But when you came into October, all of a sudden that shift happened, and the shift started taking you into the 8. So you get 1 foot in the 7, which is almost done, right? And 1 foot in the 8. So when you come over into January, you're still going to have 1 foot over here in the 7 and 1 foot in the 8, but you'll be more immersed in the 8 energy. And that you'll get full born into the 8 energy come around the 1st of April. That's when your personal year really kind of kicks into gear, is about the 1st of April. Okay, one last question here. As me being 22 years old, is it too early to be looking at my numerology chart? Oh, absolutely not. Are you kidding? Oh my God, we're actually good. Everybody needs, I'm telling you, there's 2 things you need in life, an astrology chart and a numerology chart. And one is not complete without the other, but you really do need to have both of them at some point in time. I'm not suggesting you have to do them both at the same time, but I love to read for younger people to kind of help them to understand what they sign up for, because your birth date, you chose your birth date. You chose the numbers that went into your birth date because of the lessons that you agreed to learn this time around. But if you don't have the explanation, then it's kind of tough, right? To know, and you're kind of aimlessly spiraling around the drain a little bit. You also chose the vibration of your birth name, which brings in the talents and the gifts you probably don't even know you have that will support you on your journey as an 11. Okay. Yes. So 1 heart rate back at you, Shanika. All right, guys. Well, I think this is it. I hope you got lots out of this. If you wouldn't mind giving the video a bit of a thumbs up and maybe sharing it, that would be amazing. I always forget to ask to do that. I would love it if you would give some consideration to the 6 Psychics Under One Roof. I promise you, it's a blast. It is so much fun. So much good stuff. Like, I can't even explain it. I've got Laura Warren, who's a psychic medium. She's had her own TV show for a few years. Very good personal friend of mine. She's my 1-800 dial-up. So she's really great. We've got Annette Dalou, who is a channel and an Akashic Records specialist out of Paris. We've got Maureen Webb, who is a human design and gene keys expert and astrologer. We've got Marilyn Young, who is an angel communicator and an angel number numerologist from Calgary, Alberta. And we've got Coralie Fox, who is a spiritual growth coach out of Halifax, and myself, all under one roof, all at the same time. And you get to talk to all of us. How cool is that? $47. I mean, come on. When can you sit with 6 psychics all at the same time for $47, right? And get the recording afterwards. So if you can't attend, you've got something to watch after the fact. But do check it out. It's on my website, AnnPerryNumerologist.com. So that's it for tonight. I'm going to see if I can make this happen next Wednesday night, if it's at all possible. I'm going to try. Do you guys like this? Is this something you want to do? You want to see more of this? Give me an idea so that I can schedule something. And, if there's something you want me to cover that I haven't covered yet, by all means, put it in the chat or send me a link, send me a message in the chat. Even after the fact, I'll see it on YouTube. So, all right. Well, I guess that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for being here. This is fun. I hope that you got lots out of it, and that we'll see you again next time. All right. Take care, guys. Bye for now.